What's up, guys? So today I'm gonna teach you 5 super important things to do, kind of like tricks but not really tricks. I would call them tips. Okay, 5 amazing tips for the perfect powder coating job. Now these are things that you may not think of, but these are the little things that'll make the biggest difference, so stay tuned. Tip number 1: whether you fill your bottle or you have a box like this full of powder, okay, what you want to do is you put the lid on once you have the powder inside, okay? This one's kind of been worked already, but what you want to do is you want to shake it. You want to shake it up, you want to stir it, you want to mix it up. And the reason why is it gets rid of any clumps. Okay, some of this powder sits on the shelf for a while and it kind of clumps together a bit, and it just needs to be shaken apart in order for it to be super fine and smooth again. And that way when you're spraying, you don't have any chance of spraying a little clump onto your product. Tip number 2, okay? See those fingers? 2. Wear earplugs or headphones. See that? It's dangling. Reason why is when you're spraying, and it doesn't matter how awesome your spray booth is, okay? There's still going to be dust in the air as you're spraying, and you don't want that getting in your ears. There's a reason why we wear a mask. It's so we don't breathe it in, but you also don't want too much of it in your ears, and if you can, try to protect your eyes also, because if you're doing this for a living and you're doing this over a long period of time, you don't want all the stuff getting in your body. This is one that I don't see anybody doing, and I'll be honest, if I spray and I go home and before or after a shower I try and clean my ears, whatever color I spray that day, that's the color that's coming out of there. And you don't want that. Like, why do we want to abuse our body to make some money? We don't. So earplugs or headphones if you like some music going. This is something that you got to get used to though, because a lot of us, especially if you're new to powder coating, you're gonna probably go off sounds as you're coating, the air pressure sound of the gun, things like that. But it's okay, because once you have everything adjusted properly and you have your experience, you can have those things in and still coat perfectly every time. But in the beginning it might be a little bit of getting used to. Super important tip. I guess this isn't really a tip for having a perfect powder coat job, but it's having a perfect powder coat career, because you don't want to mess that shit up during your time of doing this. So I'm going to put this as tip number 2 for now. Tip number 2.5, because I'm sure some of you won't like tip number 2 and think that has anything to do with powder coating quality. So I'm going to give you a 2.5. This is like a bonus, okay? When you have a bottle like this that you're filling, a lot of you guys are probably out there doing hobby powder coating, and chances are you have a gun that takes a bottle. Now, when you have a bottle like this, there's a sweet spot where it's going to spray the best, and that's between 3/4 full, just under 3/4 full right here, and just over 1/4 full. If your powder is within that range, okay, you want to be between here to here, okay? If you are between that range, it's going to spray the smoothest and the nicest. If you are below, you're going to have too much air versus powder. If you're too high, it's going to throw out too much powder versus air. So you want that perfect misty flow. Stay between there and there as I showed you, okay? There's number 2.5. That was a bonus. Threw that in there, don't even care. 3. Some people do that. Actually, this is more comfortable. I'm going to do this from now on. Tip number 3. But it just doesn't look right. That's a hard one. Anyway, tip number 3, okay? Air pressure. When you're spraying, I usually keep the air pressure very high, okay? The recommendations for the gun could be something else, but you need to do what's best for you and what's best for the results that you're getting based on your experience. And for me, this is what I found. Right there. That's the sweet spot. Just over 60, 65 PSI. Okay? That's what I shoot at. Now, as you're pulling the trigger, okay, that is overkill pressure, okay? You will destroy the powder out of that gun. The gun will shoot that powder out across the room. But that's fine. That's okay. And the reason why I don't care is because I don't squeeze the trigger all the way. Now, having that pressure on the line, I have full control over how much or how little I want the stuff to come out. Because based on what I'm doing, I want full control. That is my tip. Give it a shot. Try it out. It may or may not work for you as well as it works for me. But this is tip number 3. Tip number 4, okay? Always check that you got spark, you have connection before starting. You want to make sure you have connection because sometimes you can spray something that has like half-ass connection or no connection and the powder is going to get on there. You're going to think it's okay, but it's actually not absorbing evenly and properly, and you won't even know until you've already screwed it up. So check for that. Make sure you know the thing's plugged in, it has connection, because if these hooks been coated too many times and it's not getting the continuity through it, it's not going to spark, you're not going to have good connection, and it will result in the look of your product and the quality and reliability of your product in the end. So yeah, that is an awesome tip. I love it. Hopefully you guys like it also. I'm going to leave my mask off and my earplugs off just to teach you and to explain to you this tip as well as another one. Okay, I'm going to show you another tip here. So tip number 5. Tip number 5, have lighting. You see that lighting there? I've got that lighting there. Those ones there, massive plot lights at the top. Those are the gas ones. This place is lit. Okay, I can see fine, but the reason why I have the stand there is to eliminate shadows so I can see if I'm spraying consistently. Because when you have shadows just like that there, you might think the powder is causing it by being too light there or too heavy. So all you do is you adjust your light on the part that you're spraying so you eliminate shadows, and away you go. Now you could have a nice booth set up or not, doesn't matter. I mean, this is a $10 light stand. What matters is you just do what needs to be done to have the proper setup, okay? You don't need a $100,000 spray booth. You can have a $10 light. Just use something to eliminate the shadows, to have proper lighting, so you can get this thing to be done properly, okay? Fancy or not, we just want the job done. So that's tip number 5. I'm actually gonna spin you off with tip number 6 now. Just as a bonus, I mean like a really bonus mood tonight. So wait for this. This is gonna be sick. I'm gonna show you guys how to spray evenly. We got a huge surface here, right? And I want to spray it evenly. Check this out. First things first, get around the hook. If you just spray like this, okay, you're gonna notice after it cooks that the hook has left a mark where the powder didn't get to as much as other places. That's why we want to go in an angle around the hook. Then what I do is I go left and right, okay, left and right, and I'm working it down. I'm staying even and I'm overlapping the powder. Okay, left, right. Now just pay attention because I'm going to show you what's going to happen next. On a wide surface like this, if you don't spray evenly, even though when you look at it now it's going to look like, oh, we got powder everywhere, it's going to be fine. After you cook it, it will show streaks and everything if you're not even, okay? You have to have a really even amount of powder everywhere for you to have a perfect result. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And some colors like matte black, or any matte color, or flat color, they really show every little flaw and inconsistency. So what I'm doing now is I'm going the opposite way. I was going left to right, and now I'm going up and down. And what this is doing is it's blending the streaks out, okay? We can't see those streaks now, but after you cook it, you would be able to see those streaks. I'm blending them out by doing this. Imagine you have a spray can and you're gonna paint this piece. You go just left and right, you're gonna see those left and right streaks of paint. There we go, up and down. So now it's pretty well blended. But I'm not done just yet. So the next step, I back off the gun a bit, I add extra pressure, so it's giving a really, really nice mist, and I go across, okay? I go on this pattern here. I'm misting it, okay? I'm misting the powder onto it, and, wait for it, the other way. It's like an X, okay? And when you have 3 X's, it's very, very sexual. So we're not gonna do it 3 times, we're just doing it once. PG rated, and there we go, misting it on, and that's it. That is now a perfect coated, perfectly blended piece, and you just follow that instruction on any size product and it's gonna look perfect every time it's cooked, okay? That was an awesome tip number 5 or 6. I think this was bonus tip number 6. Freaking awesome. Okay, so that pretty much no. You said I was gonna say that concludes the video. Guess what I'm doing? Throwing in another bonus tip. Pay attention, it's coming right now. Remember this perfectly coated piece? Let's say we go and screw it up. Let's say, boom. I just marked it, okay? Now we have a marked up piece. What are you gonna do? If you shoot it directly, it's not gonna blend properly. You're gonna have like a mountain there. It's gonna look like shit, and it's gonna show when you're cooking it, when you're done cooking and it's baked. So this is how you blend it. Watch. You start a little bit away and you go, oh wow. Well, look what I just did. Okay, so let's say you screw it up somehow. What you do, you blow it off in those sections. So we got those 2 sections. How are we gonna blend it back? Pay attention to this. You don't just go there and hit the spots, okay? You don't do that, it's not gonna blend properly. You start away and you go left and right, surrounding the area. You don't just hit the spot. You surround the spot and you keep it going a little further, and that is how you blend your patch jobs, okay? Surround it. Coming in for another round. See that? We've surrounded around it. Now I'm going to go a little lower now because it's the second pass. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back in the opposite way as we talked about on step number something else. And look at that, we've perfectly patched it. See that? Let's get our light over here. Get rid of the shadow. Perfectly blended it. That is a bonus tip. That is a bonus of bonuses. Awesome tip. All right, guys, so there you have it. There's a few tips from me on how to make your powder coat experience perfect. So I'm assuming you guys already know the basics, and these are just little things that I learned over time because when I wasn't doing them, the quality of what I was doing wasn't as good. So I thought I'd share that with you. It's something I've learned over experience. If you already know all these things or some of these things, thank you anyway for watching. I guess this would just be a reminder video for you. And keep up the good work by paying attention to the little things. But you know, if somebody's watching this and you're new to powder coating or you're looking into powder coating, either as a hobby or as a career, you know, hopefully these can be helpful to you, and that's really what this video is all about. So thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm out.